What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. We took one trade today and we ended up catching a nice win on these shorts later on in the session. Again, executions are in the Discord, so you guys can go check that out if you guys want to join. Link is in the pinned comment. We're going to be running voice chat trading tomorrow for Friday. And if you guys need a link, sign up link to Alpha Futures. Link is in the pinned comment as well. That's the other firms that I use. I use Top Step for today, but I use Alpha, I use My Funded Futures, I use Apex, I use all that. So link is in the pinned comment. You'll get a discount for that. So coming into the day, coming into the session, we had taken out data highs in the pre-market, and I wanted to see a rotation down to these data lows, these 830 lows, because we had off-market open, we had left equal lows leading into this. So coming into the day, where was market open? Let me just look really quick. 930. Right here, we had an initial kind of chop and we had a slow move up, and we ended up trading into a 1 hour first presented fair value gap. So I didn't want to force anything in this. I didn't see anything I liked. We were delivering off a 15-minute bullish fair value gap. It's the small one right here. But I didn't want to really force longs because I didn't see anything clean on the way up. There was obviously probably setups you could have taken on like the 1 minute or something like that in here. But I didn't see anything I really want to take, especially with lows leading into data low down there. And I figured that data lows were probably going to be the main draw on liquidity for some time in the session. So price ends up initially trading into this hourly first presented fair value gap right here, and we end up getting a nice sell-off. And at this point, I was looking for shorts off of this 5-minute bearish fair value gap after it formed right here off this retrace, but we just got no entry, and we ended up building up more low resistance sell side liquidity. So now we had this low, we had this low, and we had the data low. So we didn't get an entry here off this dump. We didn't get an entry here off this 5-minute because I was looking for an inversion off of this 5-minute. So I wanted to see this 1 minute gap or whatever get inverse before I was going to short, and we never ended up getting it. And we end up running up, and we end up retesting that 1 hour first presented fair value gap, and we end up sweeping out those highs from earlier in the session around 10 a.m. So we sweep out those highs, and at this point, I just know at this point we're probably going to want to come correct down, because as you can see on the way up, we have no unfilled gaps. It's just low resistance sell side liquidity. Like, there's no unbalanced price action. And if you look, the nearest draw is these lows, and the data lows. So I'm assuming price is just going to run through this aggressively because, again, there's no gaps for us to balance out. You know what I mean? So if there was a 5-minute unfilled here, I would have been okay, I'll trade it into this unfilled. But when we see like a chop to the upside like this and all this low resistance liquidity being built up, I'm just assuming price is going to aggressively run through this and run all the way down to our draw on liquidity, which in this case was the data low from 830 and all this low resistance or these relative equal lows leading into it. So at this point, we re-sweep that high from 10 a.m. We're delivering or continuing to deliver out that 1 hour first presented fair value gap. And at this point, I'm looking for the highest time frame inverse to kind of short down. So we obviously don't see anything on the 3-minute. The 2-minute, I believe we had a small gap right here, but I was mainly looking at these two stacked up 1 minute fair value gaps. We had this one right here, and then we had this one above it. So I just stacked them up, and we end up getting this 1 minute bearish close right here on the 1046 candle. We aggressively close through it, and then we get a nice retest back into the inversion. And on this retest, I can't show it here, but we were delivering out of a 30-second bearish fair value gap, and we were rejecting it. We put in the top wick, and we started to reject, and that's where I took my entry. So I got filled at about 268. I have to double check from the executions, but regardless, I run my stops at the high, so it was about 42 points, and basically I targeted one take profit. My idea was to target data lows or these relative equal lows before, just in case the data lows wanted to get edged or something like that. So basically, we're delivering out of that 1 hour first presented fair value gap. We re-swept the highs. We get a shift in order flow. We get a 1 minute inversion, 2 minute inversion. We get the retrace respecting out of a 30-second bearish fair value gap. Again, this entry was a little bit later into the session, so I did de-risk on this because we didn't get this entry until about 10:47. And usually I like to be, not looking for subs past like 10:40-ish unless something clean pops up, which we got here. So again, we're delivering out of that 1 hour gap. We get the inversion, we get the retrace. We have built up low resistance sell side liquidity leading into our drawn liquidity, which is the data low. So I take the entry on the retest, and I basically just targeted one take profit. That was it, just one take profit. at the data lows or at these lows right here, I was going to manually close it. So we end up coming down, and I set an alert as soon as we end up taking out these lows right here, and then I manually closed it. I ended up getting a nice fill at 141 for the close. Again, I could have held it for the extra few points, but I really didn't care. I just kind of wanted to just take it and get out. And as you can see from there, prices continue to obviously dump. We do have a gap. I believe this was a 1 hour gap, so it could run down to that gap. But to play it safe, my draw was data low, and we ended up catching about a 3-hour trade. So I'm super happy with that. So once again, we had built up low resistance sell side liquidity leading into our data low. We're delivering off a 1 hour first presented fair value gap. We get the 1 minute inversion, enter off the retrace. We swept out those 10 a.m. highs. ES at the same time is doing the same thing. It's also delivering off of that 1 hour gap. I just don't have it marked, but it was delivering off that 1 hour gap. ES also had a strong bearish displacement close right here, and then it ended up inversing on the next candle right there, and we took the entry, targeted one take profit at the data lows, and we ended up getting a nice close there. So that's it for me, guys. Again, it's probably going to dump down there. Unfortunately, didn't get to hold that, but is what it is. This was our objective, and we took the win. So that's it for me, guys. We'll be back tomorrow and hopefully catch another one, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.